we're officially in a new era of DC movies. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So believe it or not, this year, we're not getting any DC movies apart from the Elseworld stuff, as James Gunn has become the new head of DC, and he'll be launching the DCU in 2025. With this comes a new universe of both films and TV shows. The first chapter is going to be called Gods and Monsters, essentially their phase 1, if this were the MCU. So today I decided let's take a look ahead at this new DC universe and rank all of the upcoming movies and shows that have been announced based on my excitement. And before I dive into this tier list, be sure to hit that like button and comment down below what DC movie and show you're the most excited for in James Gunn's DCU. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. It means a lot. I'm so close to making that final push. And go show some love to the Unusual Couple podcast for weekly episodes with myself and my girlfriend Cam. And if you guys like this video and want to see me talk comic book movies with other YouTubers live and in person, you can do that at MegaCon this year. I will be there all 4 days, and one of those days I will be on a comic book movie panel with fellow YouTubers who you definitely recognize. It's going to be lots of fun, so I hope to see you guys down at MegaCon. Without further ado, let's dive into this tier list. Alright, so the tiers I have are Need It Now, I'm Pumped, I'm Curious, and Don't Really Care. These are fully randomized. These are the movies and shows that are announced for the DCU or DC Universe. But with that being said, let's start with this first one, which is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This is going to be a new movie, a Supergirl movie. Now, I know they have the Supergirl show that's on the CW, and they also have Supergirl, played by Sasha Calle in The Flash. This is a new iteration of the character. In fact, I believe they announced recently some of the names that had read to play the role, and I don't remember exactly who they were, but this is like a brand new Supergirl story in this new universe. And because of that, I'm putting this in the I'm Curious tier, because this could go one of two ways. It could be a disaster, or it could be a surprise smash hit, something like Wonder Woman that just blows us all away and lights it up at the box office as well. So I have no clue where I lie with this. I need to see the casting, I need to see some marketing, and then I'll buy into it. I also need to see the first film from the DCU to kind of get a grasp on the tone of this universe and the direction it's headed, and then I can allow myself to get more excited for a Supergirl film. But if a Superman film misses the mark, which we'll talk about later, then I'll have little to no confidence in a Supergirl film landing, because if you miss Superman, then you're probably going to miss Supergirl, and then the whole thing might be a disaster. But let's try and be hopeful here, because DC needs our hope now more than ever. Next, we got The Authority. This is a film. I know nothing about this group of characters. Nothing. Now, I don't know if that warrants me going in the don't care category, but I kind of think it does deserve to go there, because of all these projects, this is the one that I know the least about, probably. So it's hard for me to care. I've heard that this could be similar to The Boys, where it's a little edgy and like tonally really dark, but again, I don't know a damn thing about The Authority. But next we've got Batman the Brave and the Bold. Look, I am a sucker for Batman, but I'm kind of on the fence about this movie because we have Robert Pattinson's Batman, The Batman, my favorite Batman film to date. And we're supposed to get the Batman Part 2 next year, but apparently that might not even be happening anymore because they barely even have a script done, and it's just alarming me. Every day we get more news that's like, man, is that movie gonna get pushed again? Hopefully that's not the case, but I know that's DC Elseworlds Batman. It's not connected to this new cinematic universe. But having two Batmen, like, at the same time, I just don't know how I feel about it, especially live action. It's bizarre, in my opinion. So it's hard to be, like, over the moon excited, I need this movie right now, because we already have another version of Batman, you know, under Matt Reeves' direction that I adore. So I'm gonna say I'm pumped for this. In the, you know, in the scheme of the DCU, this is one of the ones I'm more excited for, so I'd say I'm pumped. Next up, we got Swamp Thing. This is a movie from the DCU, and it's going to be directed by James Mangold, who has lots of hits. Recently he did Dial of Destiny, wasn't a fan of that. I don't know if that's really on him, because that's more of just Disney trying to Disneyfy everything, if that makes sense, and sort of watering down a character that we all love. Movie was a cheap cash grab in my opinion, but that's a topic for another time. I don't know much about Swamp Thing, but from what I've read online, this film could go the horror route, which, like, hell yeah, let's have a horror superhero film. Why not? With Mangold's direction and the fact that they're going the horror route, I'd say I'm pretty pumped. I'd put it behind Batman the Brave and the Bold, especially when I look at the other projects on this list. This is one where I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty pumped for this one. I'm very excited. You know, it's not something I can, like, sit here right now and be like, oh, I need the trailer today. We just know so little about it. It's so far away. It feels like an idea more than an actual movie. Does that make sense? But I'd still say, in the scheme of this, you know, tier list, I'm pretty pumped for it. Moving on, we got Peacemaker Season 2, which to me, I didn't think was actually happening, and I'm still a little confused as to the actual rules of this quote-unquote reboot for the DCU, because they're taking some characters from the DCEU, but is it just like a J.K. Simmons, Jonah Jameson situation, where the actors playing playing the same character, but it's in a different universe? We really don't know, and The Flash was supposed to answer those questions, but it did a horrible job doing that. In fact, I'd argue it confused us more than anything. But anyway, I loved Peacemaker Season 1. It's one of my favorite things from the DCEU, so I'd say I need Season 2 now, especially considering where Season 1 left off. I'm going to put this in the need it now tier. John Cena is great in this role. I just hope we get everyone back and see the continuation of this story with Peacemaker. This is like John Cena's definitive role. And then we've got The Waller Show, which I thought was going to be Peacemaker Season 2. Some of these announcements for projects have been a little strange because we don't know much about Waller. But apparently she's headlining a show, and from what I've read and from what we've been told and reported on, I guess the Peacemaker gang is going to show up in this, so it's kind of like Peacemaker 1.5 in a way. Don't really know. Kind of on this. I'm going to put it right here because, like, why don't we just have Waller be in Peacemaker Season 2? Why does Waller need her own show? I don't know if this one's ever going to even end up happening. I feel like it's just going to get meshed in with Peacemaker Season 2. So the existence of a Waller show feels really weird to me. I don't know if there's even enough meat on the bone there. I feel like they set up Peacemaker Season 2 for Waller to be in it. Why not just have Peacemaker Season 2 and take all the Waller content and put it in there, almost like a big subplot? It makes no sense to me. So that's why I have that in the I don't know if I really care, but we'll see. I'm sure if John Cena's Peacemaker's in Waller, if that's 100% confirmed, I'll be on board. But anyway, next we've got Creature Commandos. I want to say this is like the animated show, and something unique James Gunn said he wanted to do with this universe is have the animated characters voiced by the same actors who would play them in live action in the same universe. I don't know if they're still going to do that, and that could just be a little too ambitious, to be honest. But I think David Harbour's involved somehow, I think. Because of that, I have to say I'm curious. I'm going to put it in the back of curious right now. Obviously, in the Star Wars world, we've had, the Clone Wars characters. Anakin and Obi-Wan have been in the Clone Wars, Ahsoka, and we've seen them in live action, but they're played by different actors usually. I just don't know if, in the grand scheme of things, people will watch animated content that's canon to the live action universe. There's just going to be an automatic disconnect. That's my biggest fear, that people will not watch the animated stuff because they're like, oh, it's for kids, it's animated. This might sound crazy, but a lot of people out there do not watch animated content because they think it's just made for kids, and that's unfortunate. I think it's a disservice to anyone who thinks that way because they're missing out on great storytelling, but still, I'm curious about this one. Moving on, we got Superman Legacy. I'd say, again, based on everything in this, I would have to put this in Need It Now, but I actually want Peacemaker Season 2 more than it. The reason I say I need it now is this is the movie that's supposed to launch this entire cinematic universe, so I need to see it. I need to see if DC can rebound and if James Gunn can get them on track. Because if this movie bombs at the box office, but also with critics and audiences, I don't know what DC's going to do. I think they're going to have to... I don't want to say they're going to have to scratch everything that's planned because it's just one movie. But if Superman, who is like the face of DC in many ways, can't show up at the movies, I just don't know what else to do. Hope will have been lost for DC, and it could be as a result of them tarnishing their brand for the past decade plus, unfortunately. But I do need this movie now. I like the casting we've got so far. James Gunn has never missed when it comes to making comic films. He did the Guardians trilogy and the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Love every single one of those projects for their own reasons. He just brings this creative flair that I'm always on board with. And his writing is awesome too. So I have faith in Superman Legacy. I don't think the movie's gonna light it up at the box office, and I am on if people really care about DC as a whole anymore, unfortunately. So there's a lot riding on this movie. Next we got Paradise Lost. I believe this is the show on Themyscira, which is like Wonder Woman's home island. I think this one was pitched as like a Game of Thronesian medieval sort of show. I don't know if I really care. I'm gonna put it at the top of Ed just because like you got me with Game of Thrones, but let's see what you're made of. Because I do enjoy the scenes in the Wonder Woman films on Themyscira. They're really neat, and like that world is cool to see, but I don't really know much about the show, so why should I really care right now? Next we have Booster Gold. I heard Booster Gold is like a dark comedy of sorts. Again, I'm not familiar with this character, so I'd say I'm curious. I'd put it right here in the middle of curious, just because I want to know who they're going to cast in this role, if it's a dark comedy of sorts. I know nothing about Booster Gold other than that, so I can sit here and babble. I'm curious to see who the hell's even in this role. And last we've got Lanterns, which is a show. We've had one Green Lantern movie. We all know how that went. Now this show, on the other hand, could redeem everything we've seen in live action for Green Lantern. I'm for sure curious. I can't say I'm pumped, but I'm curious. I'm putting it right here. Probably the top of curious, just because Green Lantern is one of those superheroes who we haven't had a lot of adaptations of in live action or animated, really, over the years. Just ever since that Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds, the reputation surrounding Green Lantern has not been too hot. So if we could get a great adaptation, I'm down. I like the concept, and I think it's a really cool world they could build with a lot of lore. So they could make like a 3 to 5 season show that has that like expansive lore of Game of Thrones. Why not? Let's see it. So it could be really cool, or it could just be really stupid. There's really a fine line there, but I'm curious as hell to see if they can actually make a compelling Green Lantern piece of media in modern day DC. But that does it for my tier list ranking of all the upcoming DCU movies and shows based on my excitement. Let me know in the comments down below which of these movies and shows you're the most excited for. Do you have faith in James Gunn to run DC? Are you very nervous? Do you even care about DC anymore? Let's talk about that in the comments down below, and of course be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. And go show some love to the Unusual Couple podcast for weekly episodes with myself and my girlfriend Cam. We have a lot of fun with it over there. Also, I will be at MegaCon February 1st through 4th, being on panels, doing meet and greets with fellow YouTubers. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I hope to see some of the guys down there. It's coming up quick, so make sure to get your tickets to MegaCon, and hopefully I see you guys there. But that's going to do it. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.